Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock, need a roof, call Parish. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and Boatcock Brothers, premium cigars. Code MAT15, 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 15% off your order. Good as we. What are you doing? Good as we. Okay, everybody. Good morning. Hope you enjoyed your college football Saturday. A little open date for the Tigers. Game day for the Hoodats. Saints against the Giants today. I already gave my pick. I like the Saints today. I think they win 26-16. I think the Giants go this way. I think Giants offensively with Jackson Dart. Probably a bit of a struggle. First road start, no Malik Neighbors. I think the Saints do enough offensively. Giants have a really good pass rush, not great in the secondary. Should be some plays to be made if you can keep Rattler upright, which hopefully they can. Even if you have to use quick passing game, all that sort of stuff, Rattler's feet to neutralize some of that pass rush, you can do it. But I do like Saints today. I think they get their first win of the season. I think Rattler gets his first win. Kellen Moore gets his first win. I do like the Saints today to get a win. So Saints Giants, and then of course yesterday was a busy college football day. Good this week. It was interesting because typically when you have days like that where there isn't like necessarily a giant marquee game, you tend to have upsets, and we did yesterday. Good this week. Penn State lose. Hey, Drew. Last time, baby, okay? Last time. Good this way. Okay. It's like whack-a-mole just pops up. How about UCLA beating Penn State? It's Penn State's second loss, second in conference. They have no margin for error any longer. I mean, and I'll tell you one of the things that we don't talk about enough. I mentioned it, but we don't talk about enough is cross-country travel. You see it. I mean, I look at it from a betting perspective because when you have these college teams that are crossing multiple time zones, you see this. I forget what the stat was yesterday or last year, but it was teams that were in the Big Ten that crossed two time zones, at least two time zones. They start of the season, they were like winless against the spread. But you see stuff like that. I mean, going from Pennsylvania to Los Angeles, I mean, you're crossing the country in a game week. Like, these are not pros. These are not, I'm not talking about the fact they get paid. I mean, where like this is the only thing you do. I mean, they're young people, they have class, they have other things going on, and you got to go across the country. See it all the time. Didn't Washington was the final of Washington yesterday? Maryland. Like I had Maryland plus 5.5, and I think that hit. Washington eked it out 24-20. So I had Maryland plus 5.5 in that. But there you go. Like going across the country, it's a tough thing to do. So anyway, Florida upset Texas. And you can say, does that make LSU's win over Florida look better? I guess, sort of. But I think more than anything, just continues to underscore the fact that we have more parity in college football. The days of seeing dominant, these handful of super dominant teams are just over because you don't build the rosters with the five-star guys that stay. You just don't see those rosters anymore. Where Saban could just stockpile five stars. And so depth is a concern for every team, quality depth. So anyway, I think it's good for college football. It makes it way more interesting. It's certainly more of an NFL feel where there's sort of the any given Saturday type thing. And I don't think you're going to have undefeated teams. And you're going to have more teams in the playoff, but it's going to make it more complicated for the it's going to make it more complicated for the committee because you're not going to have easy choices, which is why you need to have a predetermined set of qualifiers instead of letting a committee decide it. Anyway, we'll get there. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Bradley, Rooney, Jalen, good morning. Hope everybody's doing great. Bubba, good morning. Hey, Don, have you heard anything about Nuss's work ethic, like how Coach Kelly used to mention Jade being first in the facility, watching film, et cetera? Yeah, I heard he's got a great work ethic. That he's a great leader on the team. They gave him the 18 jersey, worked hard all summer. I know I saw the tweet Mike Scarborough put out, or the comment, whatever. People sent it to me. I don't know who Mike's talking to, but I haven't heard that. Hey, Victor, this is a game maybe they could win. Yeah, Saints are a favorite in this game. And I think they will win today. Brad, crazy how bad Penn State looked. Hangover, man. You get super high. You know, again, for the game against Oregon, you lose in overtime. They got to go across the country to play what might be the worst team in the Power Four. They got nipped, man. You got to show up every week. It's like, I think we all are just going to have to continue to reframe our mind about college football now. You're just not going to see dominant teams going to a ninth conference game next year. You're not going to see 10-2 as much. Like you're going to see like 8-4 is going to be a good season. I'm not saying by LSU standard or whatever, just you're going to play more teams and better teams and better games. And with the ninth league game, you're guaranteeing half your league a loss. So you're taking away a non-conference rental win and adding a conference game of which half your league is going to lose. Hey, Devin, good morning. LSU needs to be ready next week. The sloppy game performances are getting old. I thought they looked really good against Clemson. Of course, we'll play the jingle. Kyrie, thank God LSU couldn't stress me yesterday. It's now the Saints' day to control my heart, only because the Giants also stink. We could get a dub. I think the Saints could win the next 2 weeks. I think they could win this week and the next week against the Patriots. I think New England's going to be really interesting to watch today. New England's 2-2, but their wins are over Miami and Carolina. So they beat two terrible teams. They lost to the Raiders and Pittsburgh. So I'm not sure what New England is yet. They play on Sunday Night Football tonight, so I'll be very interested to watch New England tonight. But yeah, Saints definitely could win today. No last minute in. Hey, we got it done. Jalen, what do we say when the Saints are playing? I'll ask him when he comes in. Do you think Penn State falls out of the top 25? Yes. Let me put it this way. I would not have them in the top 25. There's a chance they could be hanging somewhere in the 24-25 range. But who have they beaten? If you're just going on this year, not reputation, not what you think they could be, Penn State beat Nevada, FIU, Villanova, and now has lost to Oregon and UCLA. They're 3-2. You tell me why they should be ranked, other than the fact that the name on the jersey says Penn State. Let's see. Good morning, Matt. You probably already addressed this. Any concern stopping Lenore Sellers next week? Also, do you like him as a first-round pick? Absolutely not. As a first-round pick. He is Lenore Sellers is an enigma because he's 6'3", 240. He's a big old dude with a rocket arm and will run you over. but he's not a very good quarterback. Teams have loaded up to stop him from running, and as a result, he's not been able to beat teams throwing. For example, against Virginia Tech, 13 carries, 25 yards. Against South Carolina State, MEAC school, 8 carries, 23 yards. Against Vanderbilt, 3 for -3. Against Mizzou, 10 for -28, long of 7. Against Kentucky, 14 for 81, his long was 20. That was the most effective he was running the football. But his passing yards, 12 of 19 for 209, 11 of 19 for 128. Against Vanderbilt is when he got hurt, 6 of 7 for 94 yards. Against Mizzou, 18 of 28 for 302. And then against Kentucky, 11 of 14 for 153. No touchdowns, no picks. He has 4 touchdowns, 1 interception through 5 games. I mean, he's not good. Like, he's a great athlete. He's not a good quarterback. Been saying that for a year. It was laughable when people at media days voted him preseason first team all conference. It was a joke. And their defense isn't as good. And I get it. LSU faced a suspect defense against Ole Miss last Saturday and struggled to move the football. So I get it. All right, I get that. My point is, just with South Carolina, I'm not talking about LSU. I'm talking about South Carolina. Like, their defense has been – like, their defense is what paced them a year ago. I mean, Kyle Kennard was the SC Defensive Player of the Year. They had Dylan Stewart on the other end. They had Tonka Hemingway in the middle. They had Nick Emanwari. I mean, they had NFL dudes on that defense last year. They were really – I mean, it was a really good defense. They're not a really good defense this year. And so the team as a whole has taken a step back, which is why they're sitting there at 3-2, already, 1-2 in the league with losses to Vanderbilt and Missouri. Pavia really talked all that noise to go lay an egg. Man, I tell you what, started good, didn't it? They went right down the field and scored. They got a stop, then a touchdown, and then Bama misses the field goal, and Vandy's going right down the field again, and Pavia fumbled inside the 10. The 2 red zone turnovers killed him. I mean, you could look at the final score and realize it wasn't that. I mean, they by the way, as a Vanderbilt plus 13.5 better, Jam Miller's touchdown with 17 seconds left was brutal. But it's a 4th down play. They're just running out the clock, and he shakes free and scores. I'm like, of course. But Pavia, I mean, he had 2 red zone turnovers. I mean, if you get 2 scores in that situation, you win the game. But they didn't. Pavia, it was a great strip on the fumble and a terrible decision by Pavia on the interception. Jalen Broussard, Penn State and Texas. Reed, happy Sunday, Scone. If we can't beat the Giants or Patriots, time to see what we have in Chuck. I would agree with you. But after Giants Pats, you go to Chicago. So I might look for a spot on the schedule where it would make sense. Hey, Joe, good morning. Brad, do you think LSU will have a tough time at Vandy? I think Vandy's a good team, man. You saw it. Like, Vandy not only moved the ball on Bama, they were pretty good against Bama's run. Vandy is susceptible in the secondary, and you saw that yesterday. There were 4 Alabama receivers that had receptions of over 20 yards. That's Vandy's. We talked about it last week. I mean, that's Vandy's weakness, but Bama really struggled to stop the run, and you saw that early. Vandy ripped off the 65-yarder. Pavia had a 30-something yarder. Hang on. There it was. Ty Simpson threw for 340, right? Because that's Vandy's bugaboo, is they can't really stop the run. But Vandy ran for 136. Vandy averaged 7.6 yards per carry in that football game against Alabama. Like, Alabama, it's the thing I'll keep saying about Bama, y'all. They're just the thing that was always the differentiator for Nick Saban's teams was the line of scrimmage, and they're just not. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just not what they were, where they just overwhelmed teams on the line of scrimmage. What do you see? What do you see? Huh? What do you see? A blow. Hey, what do we say when the Saints are playing? Who dat? All right, please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Hey, Lowell, good morning. Bubba, good morning. Celebrating 11 years, best job in the world. It's my little lady Dartmouth's 11th birthday. That's it's a blue. Blue. Baloo. That's awesome, Bubba. Well, happy birthday to your daughter. Is it darkness? 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 Am I saying that correctly? Anyway, happy birthday. I want to give her a shout out. So happy birthday. Hope it's a wonderful day for the entire Tatum family. Y'all have a great, Darlene. I was wondering, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that name before. Darlene, it's my mom's name, is Darlene Axel. Well, happy birthday to Darlene. I hope she has an awesome 11th birthday and gets all the presents and cake in the world. Hey, Cheetah, good morning. Let's see. Devin, a lot of bad coaches. Football, LSU is one of them. That's just so stupid. Like, the other guy's won more games than anyone active in college football. That's bad coach. Won everywhere he's been. It's bad coach. Inherited a situation with 38 scholarship players. Bad coach. Stupid. Like, some of you are insufferable. Seriously. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Kyrie, RIP Kyron Lacey. If anyone doesn't believe that officer, he couldn't have been the only one in on it. Wasn't trying to frame a young black man with a bright future. More power to you, man. I would love to. So, Kyrie, there's one piece of the state police puzzle that we still don't know. And remember, you're getting pieces of the story that are not congruent. So, for example, state police wasn't at the scene, right? At the time of the wreck. So, and by the way, I'm not excusing the report. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a second. State police isn't at the scene. Okay. They show up, they start interviewing witnesses at the scene. So they start to piece together the puzzle where they hear that a Dodge Charger was speeding and passing vehicles, which happened. And you have the woman who's driving vehicle 2, right? Classical baby. Who was the one who actually caused the wreck, telling a different version. So then now the trooper goes to question the witness in the gold truck at his home, having been told by witnesses on the scene about the Charger. And so in his error clearly was, even after this man is telling him, like, I didn't have to slam on my brakes. Like, what I want to know is, there was also 4 minutes of body cam. That's what Matt Ory, the attorney, said. There's 4 minutes of body cam that's not turned on. I would love to know what that content is. Like, what happened there as you piece together this whole thing. I understand police have a very difficult job to do. And I have the utmost respect for police. The thing that does not sit well most. So I'm not going to go as far as you're going, Kyrie, to say that he's framing a young, successful black man. I'm not going that far. I'm not saying that didn't happen. What absolutely happened is there were inconsistencies with the driver of the gold truck, his statement, which is seen and heard on body cam, and what is written in the report and not signed by that man. Like, I completely agree with you that state police and that trooper need to answer for that. Jumping to conclusions, however, is what got us into this mess to begin with. So it's why it's important to let things play out. However, so don't misunderstand me. I'm not exonerating that trooper. I'm saying, let's hear what he has to say about it, because there's inconsistencies and I want to hear more. And I definitely want to hear more from the woman in vehicle 2, as it was described, the one who actually caused the wreck, because she's the one who took a hard 75-degree turn a half a second before impact, said she was eating Funyuns and listening to her music, and the man in front of her in the gold truck was going 28 miles an hour. Like, and never hard break. There was no skid marks. He never hard braked. So it stands to reason as you piece it together. She wasn't paying attention. She probably took her eyes off the road, is coming up on this guy, hard corrects, and smashes into Mr. Hall's vehicle. Kyron, who was nowhere near it, comes upon it, the wreck. People recognize a green Charger, and they call him to the scene. Anyway, it's an awful situation all the way around, man. But I am with you that trooper needs to speak to that. Like, state police releasing a statement saying, like, that was the most discouraging thing yesterday. And as we were writing the story for LouisianaSports.net, and I wrote it, but I was collaborating with Hunt and our staff, like, to make sure we had it right. The thing that I don't understand, like, I'm not saying, like, I don't know what they meant is what I mean, is if they are still, state police, because the state police statement, one second. State police, the state police statement reads, at the end says, no one disputes that he, Kyron Lacy, was behind the crash scene. His swerving, passing cars, and reckless operation caused the series of crash events. What I don't know, and this is why I would love to be able to ask a follow-up. That's why it's important to ask questions. Are they saying in that statement, which was released Friday night, that at the time of the arrest, that's what they believed to be true and why they ultimately issued the arrest warrant and brought charges? Or do they still feel that way after seeing this evidence? Because if they still feel that way after seeing this evidence, that's patently absurd. That is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. I mean, I don't know how. If Kyron Lacy is 100 yards away, 92 yards when he passed, and then was 72 yards when he was safely back in his lane at the time of the wreck. Like, how can you say he caused the wreck? I mean, what they're trying to say is that when Kyron got into the left lane to pass, the people 100 yards away coming his way saw him coming head on, so they swerved. Like, 100 yards away? It's just impractical. That doesn't make a lick of sense. That's why I would love to know, is that what state police is still saying? That even in spite of this new information, they still believe that his actions caused the wreck? Because if that's the case, that's absurd. That's absurd. And I would love to hear the explanation why. Hey, Steve. Good morning. Peel myself out of bed. It's a miracle speaking for myself that normally gets up at 4:30 every day. Win or lose. Having a great day. There you go, Steve. Good to sleep in from time to time, man. Hey, Austin. Good morning. You called it. Fun day of football. Winless UCLA beating Penn State. Florida better than their record. Hate to say it. Bama looks like the best team in the SEC. I think every team, Austin, I don't think any team is great. That's the thing. If Bama was held scoreless in the second half against Georgia, if Kirby kicks the field goal there from the 10-yard line and ties it, Georgia's going to win that game. Vanderbilt had 2 red zone turnovers yesterday. Could have very easily won that game. Flip side of it is Ty Simpson looks really good. Like, he's one that I think you would answer to the affirmative to say all the questions we had about quarterbacks coming into the league, like Arch, Lagway, not been good. Simpson, Mateer have been good. But I mean, none of these teams. I mean, we watched. I continue to watch Bama struggle in run defense, and at times struggle to run the football. So I just think there's no. We keep thinking who's the best team. I think what we know is who's at the bottom of the league, and then you have the teams in the middle that are going to probably find themselves somewhere in that 10-2, 9-3 clump of Georgia, Bama, LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas A&M. I mean, like, half the league is going to end up. You're not going to have a 12-0 team or an 11-1 team. Survivor's remorse. If Nuss isn't injured and it isn't limiting him, and the passing game needs work per BK, why is Nuss taking a week off and isn't getting the reps? That's contradiction. Nuss is the main person of the O. I think it is perfectly fine to give a veteran a week off. I'm not concerned with what Nussmeier is going to do in practice. Not a lick. It's like in the NFL. There's veteran days off all the time. A lot of times they just get veterans ready for Sunday. And Brian Kelly did say against Florida, or after Florida, that they'd shut him down for the bye week to give him time to heal, because that's the most important. Because it's more important to get him to 100%. Nobody said that he's not in any way injured. The point is that limiting him? Is it limiting their play call? That sort of thing. And if this gives you time just to let him sit and heal, I'd rather that than push him in the open date. I feel like BK's biggest mistake was ask LSU fans for their money and say, see in the natty, call us spoiled when we only want better results. I don't disagree with that. Y'all know how I think he mishandled himself in that press conference. Jalen, this is why SEC is one footprint is good. They overexpanded in the Little 10. You talk about the geographic footprint. I understand why the Big Ten did what they did. I mean, financially, it made a lot of sense. I mean, you brought in Los Angeles and Seattle, Portland. You brought in the West Coast. You became a bi-coastal conference, which financially is excellent. Competitively, it creates a lot of challenges. Hey, Christopher, good morning. Who dat? Today could be the day. I think today will be the day. I do think the Saints win today. Texas is not good. They got tested week 1, played cupcake games. I agree. I think Arch is not a very good player right now. Very good talent, struggling a lot. Hey, John, good morning. How's Drew? Hopefully the Saints can get their first win today. Do NIL contracts have performance-based incentives? They do not. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point that happened. Well, keep in mind also, Survivors Room, we're probably talking about two different things. If you're talking about NIL and rev share, like I could see a world where you have things like percentage of snaps. I mean, a good example right now is like Isaac Yadam, like his contract for the Saints. If he plays more than 25% of the defensive snaps, the Saints are going to lose the compensatory 4th-round pick they're in line to get from Paulson Adebo leaving. So they're not really incentivized to play beyond 25% of the snaps. I think you could see some of that with rev share. But remember, NIL now is true third-party NIL that goes through the clearinghouse. And so that has to, like, that's not incentive-based. That's like, what is your endorsement worth? So we're having a little bit of a different convo as that changes. Matt, do you do parlays or straight bets? I do parlays. I mean, I do props. I do parlays. I do straight bets. I do a lot of totals. As much as people complain about college football, the rate is great. It is a great product. It's a much better product. Yay! Because if you're UCLA, I was listening to Sports Shorts yesterday. I was driving Drew to work to ride the elevators, and they were literally having the conversation on Sports Shorts about how they think UCLA is going to go winless this season. And then a few hours later, they beat a top 10 team in the country. Like, that keeps teams and more fan bases engaged longer, because I know everybody's disappointed about LSU right now. I get it. Like, you should be. I mean, you lost a game, you struggled to run, all the stuff. But you got one loss. Like, tell me who's the dominant team that's put you behind the 8 ball that you can't beat. Can LSU beat Alabama? Can LSU beat Georgia? Can LSU beat Vanderbilt? Could they lose to any of these teams? Yes. Are they capable of beating all of these teams? Yes. So you keep playing it out. Whereas in like the BCS era, LSU season would be over. Now it's just a matter of, are you going to the Music City Bowl, or you going to the Independence Bowl, or you going to the Citrus Bowl? How about that? Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau are active today. Wow. Wow. Hey, Leslie, good morning. Ronnie, good morning. Thomas, good morning. All right, going to the game. Very good. Dom, will LSU win out? I don't think so, Dom. Look, I picked LSU 10-2 at the start of the season, but I had them losing to Clemson. I had them beating Ole Miss. So really, they've inverted those. We did a station survey that published yesterday at LouisianaSports.net. I stuck with 10-2. You can laugh at me. Maybe that's dead wrong. I think LSU will win at home against South Carolina, win on the road at Vandy, and win at home against A&M. I like LSU in that building, especially with that defense, which means you go into November as a one-loss team. You're going to beat Arkansas and Western Kentucky. So my question is, can you split Bama and Oklahoma? If you do that, you're 10-2, and I think you're in the playoff. That's the path I think they follow. Could they stumble and lose to A&M? Yes. Could they stumble and lose at Vandy? Yes. Like there's landmines everywhere. But I don't think they were on the table. I picked them 10-2. I'll stick with 10-2, and I think that'll get him in. Alex, he is going to be on Sark. The D on Texas tackled poorly. The team was flat. Florida showed that talent on top of it. How about this? Like, this is a great reminder as well. Like, they all wanted to force out Quinn Ewers. I'm not saying that they're a championship team with Ewers, but they're a lot more dynamic offensively with him. Same thing as Oklahoma with Dylan Gabriel last year. They forced Dylan Gabriel out because they wanted to turn it over to the 5-star. And what happened? They went 6-6. I'm just here to tell you, man, I know as much as it stunk losing Bryce Underwood's commitment and everything, like the future of the quarterback position is sorry. Sorry. Yay. I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. What were we talking about? Yay, buddy. Anyway, sorry, y'all. Do you think the LSU offense, do you think the LSU turn, did they turn the offense around? Look, we've had this conversation so much now. I think the crux of the issue is the offensive line. Can the offensive line get better to where you commit to running the ball, run it effectively to open up the passing game? You do that, there's going to be good days. There's going to be not. Yay! Anyway, you know what I should have done right there? Instead of making a wait while finish that text. Let's do this. Here you go.
Construction and roofing. At Parrish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrish built. Parrish built. Parrish built. From your hometown. ParrishBuilt.com.
All right. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Remember, if you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. After Hours Clinic is open nights and weekends. You need a roof, give us a shout at Parrish, ParrishBuilt.com. Oh, I need a favor, y'all. Need to ask a favor. If y'all would need a favor. So we at Parrish Construction and Roofing have been nominated for the best roofing company in the Best of Ascension Awards. I would love it if you would take a quick moment and vote. I just posted the link in the chat. If you like, all you have to do is tap that link and vote. That'll take you right to where you vote for Parrish. So what I just posted would be super awesome if you could help us out. Would greatly appreciate it. Okay. I gotta find my spot again. Sorry. Joe, are there NFL auto locks? There are. Post them. They usually get posted around like 11:40, so at 20 minutes before the new games. I know that's a quick turnaround, but it's when they give all their picks on the show, and then I turn them around. So yes, they will be posted. Hey, Dad. Good morning, Kevin. More Big Scone took the under on the Saints season win total. You appear to be in line for a winner, Kevin, especially if you got it at 5.5, under 5.5. Other videos. Why do they play ad jingles? Morning Scone viewers play the jingle. Let's see. Sellers has looked better throwing the ball this year. He's going to be a problem next week. No, he has not looked better throwing the ball this year, actually. I don't know if you've actually watched him play. He at times will flash, but he did the same thing a year ago. Sellers is right now, he's thrown for 886 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick through 5 games. He's been sacked 14 times. He's averaging 10.2 yards per completion. No, he's not good. Giants think they found Eli Manning too. Craig, Sunbelt Billy got himself a few more weeks cushion. He did. Bama looks good. If our offense doesn't improve, sorry. I don't think we stand a chance against Bama or Vandy. Billy needs a win. Patrick Morgan. Billy Napier won his last stand. Nice win for them, for sure. Bama was let off the hook again. Game week coming down for the game. Need the W. Big opportunity for LSU. A week to sit, watch, rest, get healthy, iron out some things. See how they look in South Carolina. Kevin, you see Drew Brees' comment on Spencer Rattler? I don't think Rattler is the problem. Honestly, Kevin, I've seen Brees talk about Rattler a good bit. I just don't. This is going to sound strange. I know. I don't put a lot of stock into what Drew Brees says because he's an unapologetic homer. He was also talking at the start of the season about how the Saints could win the division. Like, he still has the player mindset where he's never, like, he doesn't look at it through an analyst lens. He's looking at it still through a player's lens, like when he was on the team. And the reality is nobody could realistically look at this team and think that they're a division winner. They literally had the worst odds of any team in the NFL to win the Super Bowl, like beyond the Cleveland Browns. So it's hard to take what Drew Brees says, his opinion on the team, with any degree of legitimacy, because he's just not giving you a fair and honest assessment. He's looking at it through black and gold glasses, which I love. I love him for it. But that's not the guy that I'm going to, it's weird to say, but and I love that he's still just bleeds black and gold and says we and all that stuff, but you're just not going to get an objective point of view. He's not going to say Spencer Rattler stinks. And so if you're unwilling to say Spencer Rattler stinks, then it's hard for me to accept your praise as legitimate, if that makes sense. Victor, stop pretending predicting season record. Lynn Marrero, Louisiana in the house. Car St. Aug was great. Energy was through the roof. Devin, what up, brah? Chance, seeing Texas and Penn State lose somehow makes me feel better. There are no dominant teams out there. Like, that is the point, Chance. Like, I know this is so weird, but I'm going to keep pounding this drum. College football fans have got to reframe their mind to look at college football more through an NFL lens. And you can go, oh, I hate the NFL, blah. But that's the reality. The New Orleans Saints, 1 week, go to Seattle and look as bad as an NFL team as I've ever seen in that game. Block punt return for a touchdown, 60-yard return, turnovers are awful. Awful. A week later, they go to Buffalo, who's maybe the best team in the NFL, and are in a 2-point game in the fourth quarter where they have a touchdown that's going to give them the lead in the fourth quarter that's overturned by review. But if Cooks holds on that ball, the Saints are leading maybe the best team in the NFL in the fourth quarter. Yay. Like, yay. That's college football now, because you can take a 5-star that sits on the bench at one place for a year, leaves, and now goes to another place as a year older player. And it's brought the top tier down. That's what it's brought the Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, whoever down a rung. It's brought them back to the pack and allowed everyone else to fortify with some better talent and depth. And so you've gotten a better product across the board, and you don't have just the teams that are going to run roughshod. You had one undefeated team in college football last year, Oregon, and they got blasted by Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Club, good morning. Victor, okay, saw that, read that one already, sorry. Found Shoney's in Orlando, about to introduce the kid to a breakfast buffet. I love that, so good. James Franklin has to be one of the most overrated coaches in college football. It's interesting because, I mean, he won at Vanderbilt, which nobody before him had been able to do. And he's won a lot at Penn State. He just can't get over the hump. And there is something to that, to being a good coach and a championship caliber coach. And sometimes it's good or bad fortune. And then sometimes you're just not the guy who knows how to climb that final rung. And by the way, Brian Kelly may be that guy. Maybe. I mean, he's been coaching for 34 years as a head coach. And he's had he's done a lot of great things with teams, and he's built great rosters and put guys in the NFL, and he's won a ton of games, and he's gotten to the playoff, and he just has come up short. Mike Martin at Florida State was that guy. Was there forever. Just got to Omaha a ton, won a ton of games, just could never win it when he got there. I mean, that's a thing that's real. Austin, clear that state police is doing mental gymnastics now. The video completely derailed the original narrative. I'd like to see the DOJ investigation into the whole situation. I would like to see an investigation as well. I would. And again, the question I would love answered for those that might have missed it a bit ago with the Kyron Lacey situation is with the statement state police released on Friday night, after we've now seen the video and all of Matt Ory's evidence that he's presented. Is state police saying, are they validating the original reason for the arrest? Which happens. Like, you collect evidence and then you file charges, like, based on the evidence you have. And then that's why we have due process. That's why you're innocent until proven guilty. You have your day in court. But I would love to know if they're still feeling like Kyron was responsible. Because if that's what they're saying in that statement, my goodness, I'll approach any evidence people have with an open mind, but that is a steep hill to climb to say that he was. You can see the wreck. You can see the wreck. Kyron had a car in front of him. Like, wreck happens, a car approaches, goes around, then Kyron's car approaches and goes around. Dart and Scat connection today beat them and the Falcons. Mark, on 9-7, I said if LSU's offensive line didn't improve drastically, 3 losses are likely. You just missed my comment, said they're not losing 3 games. How confident are you about that now? Would you go back and find that clip? I'd love to know the full context of our conversation. I picked LSU 10-2, and I had one of the losses being Clemson. So 9-7 would have been before or after Tech. Did they play Tech on the 7th or on the 6th? Find the clip. I say a lot of things, bro. I think they could lose 3. I still will pick them 10-2. Sure, they could lose 3. Do I think they'll lose 3 more? No, I don't think they go 8-4. Survivor's remorse. How do you view and grade the BK hire? I told someone I see him as the stepdad you didn't want, but didn't know you needed based on what he took over. I think that was a perfect guy. That was Jake Crane's line. Jake Crane's the one who used the stepdad analogy. And I think we'll grade the hire in totality. It's like, here's the thing. You ask that question now when you've had more than a week to stew over the Ole Miss loss. If you would ask that question for the week after Clemson, how different would the responses be? So, like, I'm just not the guy. I know everybody wants like an immediate visceral reaction that's going to give far-ranging conclusions to something in the immediacy, and I just don't do that. Like, I've learned over 20 years of doing this, like, don't react like that to one individual event. So it's September. Well, it's October now, I know, but like LSU's loss was in September. It's a long season, man. And no matter how many times I can continue to say, look at BK's first year. They look awful against Florida State. They get blown out at home by Tennessee. 2 losses in September. Bad, ugly looking losses. That team beat Bama and ended up in the SEC championship game. Like, it's a long season, man. I know nobody wants to think of it in those terms, but it is. Thank you, Cheetah. I appreciate that. Gulf South. Why does everyone in the media always declare Napier is coaching for his job week after week? Florida's AD has never given that impression, but the media kills the guy every week. I don't get it. You say everyone in the media? No. I mean, I think it stands to reason. Like, we live in a culture where coaches get fired, and that's a program with high expectations. And I mean, like, he is the betting favorite to be the next coach fired. Odds makers generally know stuff. I understand your point too. I mean, the athletic director who hired him is going to give him more rope. But eventually someone over you makes that call. Trivia, Rex. Matt, did people pay you to write their papers in school? I would have loved to have you paid you for my 10-page argumentative paper in high school. Could you explain why Pete was wrong for saying Shay and I? Yes. So you're talking about a tweet. I think it was from Pete Nakos reporting something. So the easy way to explain this, if you're using I or me, would be the replacement for we and us. So I think the way Pete worded that tweet was blah, 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 according to Shay and I, which that would be like saying blah, 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 according to we. If you were going to use Shay and me, you'd replace it with us, or just take out. I'm not doing a good job explaining this. Let me do it this way. Take out the other person in the tweet and see if it makes sense. So, for example, blah, 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 according to I, or blah, 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 according to me. Blah, 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 according to Shay. Blah, blah, according to Shay and me. Is that a better way of explaining it? The way to say it is take out the other person and see if the sentence makes sense. If you're using I or me, that's the best way to do it. People, I think, just default to when they're using two people, they would say like Shay and I, my wife and I, which is not always the case. Like my wife and I are going to dinner. We are going to dinner. They gave the present to my wife and me. They gave the present to my wife. They gave the present to me. They gave the present to my wife and me. They gave the present to us. Does that make sense? I hope I did a good job of explaining that. Jalen, good morning. Philip, watched the A&M State game last night. A&M loves to run the ball. One thing that your boy got right here is I did pick Texas A&M to lead the SEC in rushing this year because I love it. Returned 4 very good starting offensive linemen, and they have 3 very good running backs, including Le'Veon Moss, healthy, Ruben Owens, who's a 5-star, and by the way, their quarterback can run too. And I just kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt that they'd be good on defense because I think Mike Elko is a good defensive coach. Remember, my predicted order of finish was LSU, Texas, Georgia, A&M, Bama. That was my 5. Probably the ones where I missed were certainly Texas. I mean, they've already got 2 conference losses. So, well, I guess they got 1 conference loss. But I put Texas there because of their schedule. Long way to go. But they don't look good. Christopher, I heard from Nick Taysom is playing. That's official. Yeah, we got Louisiana Sports on that. Taysom and Foster Moreau are both active today. Rachel, Gotland's at my house right now doing Christmas lights. Yeah, best day ever. Thank you for the recommendation. Love that, Rachel. Hope you're doing awesome. Good to see you here today. Gotland Light Installers. Let me put the link in there. It's October. I tell people all the time they start their installs in October. So people are like, I'm going to wait until I'll wait till Thanksgiving. Don't wait till Thanksgiving. Like they're done with installs by then. So you don't have to turn them on, but they're going to be done with all of their installs by the time you get to Thanksgiving. So don't think you're waiting till Thanksgiving. Gottlieb's awesome. GottliebLights.com. I just posted it there in the chat. GottliebLights.com. They'll come, they'll give you a price on what it would cost to install lights at your home. And they bring their lights, they install them. If anything goes wrong during the season, they'll come fix them. Light goes out or whatever, they'll do that. And then when the season's over, they come take them down, haul them away. So they make it super easy. GottliebLights.com. GottliebLights.com.
Puppy dog. What's that?
Whoa.
What's that?
What do you want?
Fisher Price laughing on puppy dog.
All right, let's do it. Fisher Price, Laugh and Learn Puppy Dog. Do you want to say hi, Dad Show?
No.
No. Who is that?
Well,
What?
how?
Brownie. Who calls him Brownie? What? Hey, I think your backpack's done. You want Daddy to take off your backpack? Well, come see. Let me take off your backpack. Hey. Drew? Wait. All right. Let's see. I got about 15 more minutes because I want to make sure that I'm jumping on to Football Sunday at 11:20 so I can get the picks for Otterlocks. So let me see if I can blow and go a little bit more here. I know you just hired a head coach for the Saints. My question, who's on the hot seat, the coach or Mickey? Mickey's not on the hot seat. He'll never be on the hot seat. He is part of the succession plans for the New Orleans Saints as far as choosing a new owner whenever Mrs. Benson dies. He might at some point be reassigned in the organization, but he is never going to be fired. Like, he will always have a role within the New Orleans Saints. Bill Valentine, hey, Bama burning. Yeah, keep that energy, Bill. Keep that energy. It's also funny to me that Bama fans are flexing over beating Vanderbilt. I guess that's what happens when you get your behind beat by Vanderbilt 1 year prior. Gulf South, Unreal Citation QB2, kind of crazy, huh? That is crazy. Wow, that is crazy. Lynn, Mickey killed the Pelicans. He's been kicking the Saints. It's true. Let's see. Go Tigers, good morning. Take some 10 plus receiving yards. Bronco Nation, good morning, Matt. Florida beats Texas. Our win over them looking better. I believe this offense, and they will be physical. This loss needed to happen. I believe the best team with one loss. Matt's smiling about something on his phone. What was that about? Wesley got the big roof job. I don't know what it was about. I don't know what I was reading. Sorry. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers? I just always kind of give Mike Tomlin the benefit of the doubt, and I think this is the best quarterback situation they've had. I mean, they're 3-1. Winning that game last week in Ireland against Minnesota was impressive. But their other two wins are the Jets and the Seahawks. I'm sorry, the Jets and the Patriots, and they lost by double digits to the Seahawks on their home field. So I look, they got the Browns. They're idle today, and then they got the Browns next week, which they should win. Then they're at the Bengals, who, without Joe Burrow, stink. They got a very winnable stretch. Like, they should be a playoff team. Joe, for all Matt does for us, be sure to vote for him. Thank you, Joe. Very kind of you, man. I appreciate it. Tigers recipe for success the rest of the season: convert third down, control the clock. Sounds easy, right? Got to get to manageable third downs. You got to be willing to run the ball, which I don't know that they are. Michael, the bar for LSU is playing for a national. The bar for LSU is playing for a national championship. LSU is not there. Ohio State and Miami. I don't know that I agree on Ohio State. Miami looks really good. I had Florida State winning that game yesterday, but Miami's defense I thought was fantastic. Hey, Javen, good morning. Ready to see if the Saints can get this win. Joe asked about pushing out auto locks via the text. I did last week, and I can. I'm happy to do that if people want it. Let's see. Go Tigers. A&M's going to be huge. Oh, Bill, you're an excuse machine. Every time you make a bold take, when it goes wrong, you full of excuses, Bama burning a law. So, Bill, first of all, punctuation is your friend. Second of all, I really wondered if you were going to bring that same energy whenever Alabama lost to Florida State or Vanderbilt last year, or when they invariably lose again this year, because run defense isn't very good. I think Ty Simpson throwing the ball is good. I think they got good skill guys. And like I always said, never said Bama was going to be terrible. Said they're not going to be dominant, and they're not. Hence the loss to Florida State. And if you're pounding your chest over beating Vanderbilt, that's more of a comment on how much Alabama has regressed. I very much look forward to your next and eventually third loss and watching you all melt and rubbing it all in your faces. And it's going to be delicious. But watching you all peacock over beating Vanderbilt is in and of itself a great illustration of just how far Alabama has fallen. Gulf South, if you're the Bengals GM or you're rolling with Jake Browning, I would not. I don't know that Jameis is the answer. Good as sweet. But it feels like you're probably thank you, Christopher. Appreciate that. It feels like you're probably a little late. After Dad's show, we're gonna get dressed in a little while. We're gonna go to Mama and Papa's house for Gramps' birthday party. Shout out to Gramps. Gramps turns 93 on Tuesday. So we're having a birthday party for Gramps today.
I'm going to Mama's house, okay?
We are gonna go to Mama's house, okay? Survivor's remorse. You can't say the problem with Nuss is the offensive line. Not say that for Sellers when he's been sacked 12 times. part of the reason he's been sacked 12 times is because he extends plays with his feet and gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So it's very different with that stylistic quarterback. And also, a big problem with the LSU offense has been the inability to or unwillingness to run the football. The bottom line is, Survivors Morse, you and others continue to hammer down the point about Garrett Nussmeier being injured. That's the genesis of your argument. LSU struggled offensively because Garrett Nussmeier is injured. That's what you keep saying. And I am disagreeing with you. I don't think that's the genesis of LSU's issues. I think it's the fact that your offensive line has struggled, your inability to run the ball, and at times protect Nussmeier even against three-man rushes. That's a problem. How much you want to bet Miami and Ohio State won't play for Chip too early in the season? I'm really far behind. Hang on. Matt, do you think LSU's offense is out of date? I don't think they're out of date. I think they do a lot of modern concepts, like existing solely out of the shotgun, the clap snap, the zone reads. I think it's very difficult to run zone read concepts when your quarterback is not a threat to run. I think most of us agree with that. Like, if you're a defender and you see a zone read concept, you're just keying the running back because there's really no threat of the quarterback running the football. So I don't love that. Like, I would rather see LSU run more power concepts. Like, you have big physical offensive linemen who I think are thinking way too much right now. Just let them get in people's pads and move bodies and run the ball. Like, there is beauty to the simplicity of running power, which would also make defenses respect your run game and have to bring numbers in the box to match you, which would open up possibilities in the passing game of play action, things like that. I would like to see LSU simplify. I think they're trying to do too much. Yeah, Arkansas baseball is one that never has gotten over the hump. Jake, state police would be covering there. You know what? There's a liability issue for them. I don't know enough about liability and what may happen there, and I don't know. I don't know nearly enough. I can tell you when I don't know enough to comment. I don't know enough to comment there. Don, Matt, they say teams usually take on the personality of their head coach. How would you characterize this team's personality? I think this team has great leadership. I don't know that it's a personality of the coach, Brian Kelly. They were very smart in the way they went about the portal and adding veteran players. And it's just so interesting. Like, I understand the nature of all these questions because LSU's coming off a loss. And so we've had a week to stew over a loss. This was not the conversation that we were having when they beat Clemson, or when a lot of you were defending Brian Kelly after he crushed Cobble after they beat Florida. Long season. Let's see. I did not see the Crane line. I asked the question because the guy commented and said BK was a bad coach. I didn't see that comment, but it was when Brian Kelly got hired. Jay Crane had he had this big take. He said it on AFR. He said it on all of his shows. Said it everywhere. Like, Brian Kelly was the stepfather you like you hated, but you didn't know you needed, sort of thing, because he was bringing discipline into the program, which had really evaded LSU in the last couple of years under Orgeron. Spencer Rattler versus Baker Mayfield. I'll take Baker Mayfield. Absolutely. I don't even think that's a question at this point. Maybe in 5 years that changes, but today that's an easy answer. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Mark Sanchez. I saw that Mark Sanchez got stabbed, but that Sanchez got arrested. I'm like, what happened? I know he was in Indianapolis to call the game, and I think details so far have been few, at least not that I've seen, but I don't know enough to give you an opinion. I don't know. I just saw that he got stabbed, but also was charged with something. So was someone stabbing him in self-defense? I don't know. I have no idea. Good. So who dat? JL need positivity. Else will be fine. So will the Saints. Fine being, hey, we know who they are. Hey, Abner Neal, good morning. Tiger Diver, good morning. Are you and Chris M doing a crossover Locked On? Oh, yeah, I guess we'll do that this week. Yeah. Chris Marler does Locked On Gamecock, so I'm sure we will do an episode this week. Jake, if the sports broadcasting doesn't work out, you can always teach grammar and spelling to your audience. Not nearly as lucrative. Hey, go Tigers. Let's see. Richard, obviously they don't because anyone can investigate. Okay, wait, hang on. Thomas, morning. I think I'm more upset with how LSU lost over the fact that they lost. When the announcers are telling everyone Ole Miss is only rushing 3 and LSU needs to run the ball and get out of it. I'd agree with you on that. Like, we went through all the numbers. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I agree with you. There were 2 instances in the entire football game against Ole Miss when LSU ran the ball on consecutive plays. Like, that's a mouthful. Against a team that's going tempo, that's trying to get your defense tired, you need to possess the football, and LSU didn't do it. I agree with you. More Matt, if Taylor Green hits the portal, now Pittman's gone, should LSU go for him? Sure. I think no matter what, you're adding a portal quarterback this offseason. Regardless of if you get a high school 26 signee, if Van Buren comes back, no matter what, you got to go get a portal quarterback this offseason. If Taylor Green enters the portal, sure. I think he's a fantastic player. LSU balled him up a year ago, but my goodness, I mean, he also is like 6'6". I mean, I saw him at media days, and I didn't realize how big Taylor Green is. Dynamic runner, can throw, yeah, sure. Carly Cat, hope the Saints win today. Please say down, fan Jesus. It's sort of Saints finally have a starting quarterback with a win in the NFL on the active roster. Oh, Taysom Hill. True. Hey, Chance. Matt, you said Kentucky had coaching malpractice, Barron Brown. Would you use that term to describe LSU perhaps doing the same so far with our crew of talented offensive weapons? No, they're trying to get him the ball. That's the difference. Like, these guys have touches. The problem with Barron Brown is like he didn't get touches, and when you're that bad offensively, and Kentucky was like at the bottom of the league offensively, and you have a weapon like that, you've got to find a way to get him the ball. Jet sweep, screens, bubbles, whatever you got to do. Like, I think he had 23 catches last year. Like, what? You're letting that guy touch the ball 2 times a game? Like, minimum 10 on that offense. What are you doing? Let's see. Robbie, if your Yankees don't win it all, do you think Aaron Boone is fired? I hope so. And I don't think they're winning it all, by the way. And I think he should have been fired a while ago. Hey, Linda, good morning. Team Drew. Taysom Hill QB1. That will not happen. I know you said that the other day, Linda. That will not happen. Watching college football and how easily they move so easily on offense, then watching LSU makes me want to slam my head against the wall. Billy Napier needed that win against Texas. He did. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Cheetah Christian, those teams. Do those teams have dual threat quarterbacks? See, by the way, though, Cheetah, like, nobody's going to look at Ty Simpson as a dual threat guy. So it's not that, but Alabama shown the willingness to run the foot. Like, I think LSU's offense with Nuss can look like that did yesterday for Alabama. But the difference is, if you look at that box score, Alabama ran 38 times for 146 yards, an average of 3.8. That's not great. That's not great. But the 38 rushes against 31 passes shows the commitment to running the football, which opens up the passing game because you have to commit numbers to the box to defend against the run. Like, that's what LSU doesn't do, is show the commitment to running the football. Still could see LSU losing to Bama, A&M, and OU. Sure, could. I could see them also beating A&M and splitting Bama and OU and going 10-2. Kyle, the reason Texas lost was offensive line. They lost 4 starters. Now they have young guys. It's the same as LSU when they have an offensive line and Jaden was running for his life. True. HBD Gramps, yeah. That's true with Texas. And honestly, the flip side of that is one of the reasons I liked A&M this year is they were returning their entire offensive line and 3 good running backs and a quarterback that can run. And I got to get going. Kyle, problem with LSU football speaking. Okay. Brendan's going to thank you, Brendan. Appreciate it. All right, I'm sorry. I got to get going. I got to get going, y'all, because I got to get on Jimmy Ott's Football Sunday to get the picks for Otter Locks. So let me bounce. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is a good point as well. Carson Beck's not a dual threat guy, and they look really good. You just have to be able to run the football, and LSU hasn't shown a commitment to doing that. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. I got to bounce. Who dat? And we'll see you.